Okay, we're here with Gary Barr, the one and only, at Fighting Chance Promotions. We're looking back at the 2014 season and looking ahead to 2015. Certainly a bit of a roller coaster ride 2014, which there's some high points and some low points. Let's start with the low points. And what was disappointing for you in 2014?
Well, the low points was obviously John lost his two fights after having such a high start the year, winning the British title right. Craig lost his international the area title fight after winning the international masters. Travis got his injuries after two great performances in the Max Nutrition Cup, so it was the latter part of the year, didn't go so good for us, but the first 6 months was brilliant, John won the title right, Craig won his international masters, Travis beating McIntosh and then had that cracking fight with Matty Clarkson in the Max Nutrition, so it was literally a year, 2 halves. The first 6 months was great, second 6 months, just get on with it, it's a tough game, but I'm sure we'll all come back.
If you look at the negatives though, I mean obviously the Oval McKenzie fight, that was always going to be a dangerous fight. He's not called the upsetter for nothing.
Exactly.
But even in that fight, John looked overly cautious. It was almost as if he didn't impose himself on McKenzie like he needed to, but I mean, don't get us wrong, I wouldn't stand up against McKenzie myself, but it's one of the things in boxing, if you don't impose yourself on your opponent, you give him the chance to impose himself on you sometimes,
Well, in terms of McKenzie, he is the upsetter. He's always known to start fast, the first 4 rounds, so the plan was, look,
get through the first 3-4.
Maybe if you edge the rounds or even lose the first 4 rounds, that was always the plan, to come on strong later on down the stretch. We thought he was doing okay, defending well, but he's a big puncher and he got hit with a big shot in the second round. I went out to pick the stool up because the round was finished. I looked up and John's on his backside. But
right at the end.
But as I say, in terms of not establishing authority in the fight early on, we always thought that McKenzie would start fast, weather the storm, don't do nothing silly, don't get hit fresh, and then come and pick the points up down the stretch. So unfortunately, it wasn't to be. But it's under the bridge now. He's got to.
Yeah, and also obviously with the show at the end of November, Craig losing the fight, very very close, but the success obviously with the first full promotion, obviously working with Dennis Hobson, but it was your promotion.
It was great. To be totally honest with you, I get in the gym and train the lads, tell them how to box, tell them how to fight, etc. I don't have much to do with the promotion side of things. I let Lewis Penton, who's doing a cracking job, and Ronnie, he's the manager, the lads manager. So I let them do that. I concentrate strictly on the training, getting the lads ready to fight, and that's my main role, the fighting chance. But in terms of what Ronnie and Lewis done, great. That show was a brilliant success. One of the best in the area for a long time. Hopefully it's going to stay in a good stead for the future, for the more bigger and better shows. So look forward to 2015.
Well, coming into 2015, we've got a few shows. We've got shows in February, March and April so far. I was talking to Lewis. He's talking about maybe a show in May, which would be 4 months in a row. And I think obviously with the John and Travis fighting at the arena, with Joshua there and the names that are going to be there, it's going to be a sellout. It's going to be a fantastic atmosphere. So if Fighting Chance are going to do a promotion in May maybe, then it's just in terms of this year, 2015, I think there's massive potential for the region.
There is big potential for Fighting Chance for the other fighters in the region. Massive opportunities. Boxing's coming back to the North East. All of a sudden, it's been a surge the last couple of years. Rival promoters now, we've got them all competing, which I think it's good. Good, they're all putting the shows on. It can only be good for the area. So as I say, you mentioned yourself about the show in April. Got the one in February. Maybe one in May. See how things go. Boxing changes every day. So, but I've got good hopes and big ambitions for the Fighting Chance and my lads this year. So
obviously, with your lads and obviously Fighting Chance in particular, you've got Ronnie here as the. Obviously, he's going to be the main man. He's the main man anywhere he goes, isn't he?
Yes,
But you've obviously got Lewis there as well. He's got his knowledge, but he's more from the promotional side of things. About yourself, obviously, Ronnie trained you.
Ronnie trained me, yes.
So what's your story? How did you come round to becoming the trainer and joining the team?
I first walked into the boxing gym, Berkeley Boxing Club, when I was 14 with Ronnie, and I took the water. I loved the game. Me and Ronnie became mates instantly. We've been good mates ever since. So I'd had a really good amateur career, you know, over 100 fights, 20 odd for my country, 20 odd fights for England, England West. So I didn't, when I finished, I missed out on the Olympic selection. So I just decided to go, I didn't want to go professional, so take up coaching. I was a Bertie at the time, so a couple of years coaching as an amateur, you know, and then now decided to go with running in the pros. So, you know, I've got a lot of experience as an amateur, international experience, and I fought at the top level as an amateur, mixed in them type of environments. And picking up a lot of things on the way, listening and learning all the time, subconsciously listening and learning all the time. When you're mixing all that setting, training camps, all the foreign countries, etc. So I think I've got a lot to put back in the game. I've learned a lot of experience to put back to the lads, so hopefully I can pass it on and we'll bring success for the lads in the future.
And how are you finding, obviously you made the transition from amateur boxer, amateur trainer, now professional boxing trainer. What are the main differences you've found in terms of switching over?
Well, the pros are a very tough game, put it that way. Some blood tough fellas, you know. It is boxing, you know, the tactics and decisions are pretty much what you'd say, but obviously boxing, the pro side is a slower game, you know, longer rounds, you know.
Yeah.
Propose different style of fighters in front of you. It is there's not that much difference to the sport, you know. Just you pick up the different pace as you go on. The levels are different, you know. You go coming through the ranks.
I think the styles as well, because you get so many different styles.
Amateurs more on your toes, point scoring, fencing in and out, scoring the points on the computer. Where the pro games is more setting your feet, power punching, sort of dominating the rounds more. You know? So it's not just point scoring. You got to look and hurt people. It's the hurt game, you know. So,
no wonder you didn't want to turn over the pro then.
There's a big difference, but like not that much difference at the same time. Still tactics, decisions and styles, you know.
So you've been working with Travis, working with John Lewis, and also working with Craig. You've got two new guys coming in. You've got Paul O'Hagan and you've got Andy Buchanan.
Yes.
I'm his biggest fan, by the way. That must be exciting for you.
It's really good, considering when I first walked in the Bertie Boxing Club, you know, Andrew was the man. He was like, oh, you look at Andrew. He was brilliant, exceptional junior as an amateur. I think he got the senior year semi-final. Yeah. Did well and decided to go pro after that. And he had a bit of time out. He's come back. So I'm thoroughly looking forward to working with him. He's exceptional talent, loads of ability.
Great to watch.
Brilliant to watch. So hopefully I can put the experience I've learned in the game in the 16 years I've been in it. Work with him. And so hopefully we'll have some good times together. But a very exceptional talent.
And he's obviously been out for 8 years. I know he's 35 now, but it's like when Newcastle signed Paul Bracewell, he was 30. I think he was 34, but he was saying he's a young 34 because he hasn't got many miles on the clock because of his time out of the game with injuries.
He had time out, you know, but he stayed. He hasn't took many shots. He's as well, Andrew, you know. So everybody knows the more you get hit, the more it takes out of you, and he hasn't took many. So I'd say he's a young 35, and we'll just see how it goes. But I think it could be a promising couple of years ahead for him.
And you've obviously got Paul coming in as well, which is, if you look at, it's very contrasting with Andy, because I mean he's got the tools. He can take a shot and he can give a shot, certainly. But from like Andy's pretty much towards the finished article, where obviously you've got a lot more to work with Paul in terms of things you can refine and tighten up and things. So from a trainer's point of view, obviously. It gives you more variation.
There's a lot of work with Paul. As you said, he's a compared to Andrew, he's quite new, still novice. You know, a lot to work on. A lot of steps he can take in the future. Big chances for a grab, you know. So his first fight in 5 weeks' time. We can't change too much in 5 weeks, you know. Iron a couple of things out. But in terms of the future, I think we've got a lot to work on in terms of his style. So I'm looking forward to it.
Brilliant. Well, I'll be following you along the journey. We'll be back again here shortly. But Gary, thanks very much for your time, mate.
Spot on. Pleasure. Take care now. Bye bye.